it's now time. I'm sure she sat there chomping at the bit. It's time to introduce somebody who's no stranger to.
Well, there we go. Let me tell you. Whether you're selling your products or services or presenting a Zoom meeting, speaking with confidence is something successful business owners master. Today's speaker is an internationally renowned public speaker, classically trained actress, voice vibration sound healer, massage therapist, and a qualified life coach who has helped many business owners grow in confidence and build their businesses using their authentic voice. She's spoken at the BiZHUB before and is back today by popular demand to help you boost your business and take simple, actionable steps to help you speak with confidence, whatever the situation. Please give a warm BiZHUB welcome for today's guest speaker, Judith Quinn. Morning, Judith. There she is.
Good
Morning.
Take a bow.
Take a bow.
I'm
Lovely to
curtsying.
see you. And welcome back. Welcome back to Signal.
Thank you. So lovely to be here.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Over to you now. We're here if there's any problems, but see you on the other side. Looking forward to this one. Excellent.
thank you very much. And for those of you who are watching, thank you for being here. You should be able to, if you don't know by now, if you wanted to pin me to your screen so that I'm big, go up to the top right-hand corner where there's 3 little dots and click those 3 little dots and say pin video, and I will be the video that is pinned to you. I will be sharing my screen as well with some slides. I'll pop in and out from the slides. So my first question is, because I have spoken, is there anyone I'm speaking to this morning to whom I am new? So if I am new to you, could you just type new in the chat, so that basically, so I know how much of my introduction about who I am and what I do to give to you. So if I am new to anyone today, then let me know. Yes, I have a newbie. Yay. Thank you, Noam. Lovely. And here we will go then. So for those of you who have seen me speak before, you will have heard some of this, particularly if, remember back in the day when we could all meet in like real life human being styly stuff. And it was last year and I came and spoke in the pub. Then if you were at that event, which I know Sheila was, and Claire as well, I think, if you're at that event, some of this may sound familiar to you, so it'll be a good reminder to see how much of it you have kept and what you implemented, or what you go, oh, actually, I never did that, and that was something I really thought I would do. So there will be a couple of little reminders for you there as well. So here we go. Ta-da! It's like magic, and here I am. So for Noam and anyone else who doesn't know me or has forgotten, this is me, and this is how you can connect me. Most of my social media is at Your Whole Voice, and LinkedIn, I'm Judith Quinn, Vocal Confidence. And yes, the Quinn has just one N. It's a whole Irish Catholic Protestant thing. I've got a Catholic family, but we've got the Protestant version of the name. Don't ask me why, it's all too confusing. And some people, again, for those who don't know me so well, you might want a little bit of credentials. So I have this review up here, and this, I put this specific testimonial in today because we're talking about boosting your business by speaking with confidence. And that, let's face it, means 2 things. It means more people knowing who you are and what you do. So the clarity for people on who you are and what you do, because you might not be right for them, but they might know people who are your ideal clients or customers. So boosting your business in that way. And of course, there is the other way we boost our businesses. It's the way that most of us really like, because it means we're not panicking about money. It is getting more clients and making more sales, whatever that looks like for you. And that's why I put this testimonial in, because when I worked with Sammy, I was a member of her business group, and I'd done work with her. And when I actually was doing some work with her, I gave her a little sample of some of what I do. And she went, oh my God, if I'd known the whole of what you do, you would have been the first person I came to when my business partner left and I suddenly had to do all the talks. Because even though she'd spent over £20,000 on public speaking training, and I'm not going to mention with who because I don't do that, but she spent over £20,000 with this person, but was still scared to get on stage. So we did a weekend together once she realized the whole of what I do, which is where I learned a valuable lesson, which was people weren't clear on what I did. So I started boosting my business by helping people be more clear on what I do. She worked on a 2-day intensive with me. And then she went and spoke in America at a big event, and she sold more than she's ever sold before because she was comfortable and confident to go on stage as herself. And all the tools and techniques that she'd learned from this other person, she spent over £20,000 on, they were useful. But because she was not confident about going in as her, there was something missing in her voice. So I love that this testimonial from her, because she has a global business and she still wasn't doing it. So boosting your business can happen at any time. For Noam and anyone else who didn't say yes, I was new to, here's a little bit more credentials for you, my book that I wrote, some of the memberships that I am a member of or had qualifications from, and pictures of me doing what I do. Well, back when I did it out in the real world, and now I'm doing it a lot more here online. And my mission, for those of you who have heard it before, I think it's always bears repeating because it's important for you to have a mission for your business. So if you want to boost your business by being more confident speaking about it, make sure you have a mission, a higher purpose. And mine is to transform the lives of more than 100 million people by creating more confident, connected communicators. And having this mission, having this higher purpose, means that it doesn't matter if this is the 1000th time I've given this talk. When I remember that I've got a higher purpose, it re-energizes me. And if I'm nervous, like when I was working with the chair of the board of a bank back in February, I know I spoke about that when I spoke in April. When she asked me if I could help her, I was like, who am I to help you? My nerves kicked in. So that's when I connected to my higher purpose. So I encourage you to have one, and we're going to be doing some work on that later in the workshop. But my mission is to do that so that you can discover your voice. Your voice. I'm not trying to create mini-me's. You expressing yourself, expressing your truth about what you know about your business so that you can speak with ease. And when you do that, people will have more confidence in you, and you will boost your business because people will know who you are and what you do, and they will believe that you are the person who is right for them because you're resonating on their level. So what is confidence? Confidence, and this is the dictionary definition, because I do a lot of talks at Toastmasters and they like a dictionary definition. It's a feeling of self-assurance arising from an appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. And I love that. It's an appreciation of your own abilities or qualities, not comparing yourself to someone else, right? And this is where I have the obligatory cute kitten picture, right? Not comparing yourself. The kitten doesn't need to compare itself to a tiger. The tiger doesn't need to compare itself to a kitten. If you're a kitten, be a kitten. If you're a tiger, be a tiger. Now, there are times when you're speaking, and again, we're going to do this in the workshop later. There's an exercise around how you're perceived and what you might need to adapt for different audiences. So I am mostly tiger. I have a lot of playful kitten in me, but I'm not timid. I'm not backward and coming forward. A bit like Stu. Stu's a bit of a tiger too, right? Up front, in your face, loud suits. And that's okay, right? He fully embraces that. But if you're a kitten, be a kitten. But sometimes, most people are a mix of things, let's be honest. But sometimes you might need to draw on the qualities that your audience needs. I'm mostly tiger, but most of my audience are more kitten. A lot of people who come to me because they're perpetual people pleasers. They're quieter people than me. They are usually more on the introverted scale than I am. Some people who I worked with are just complete in the cupboard, don't like talking to human beings, introverted. So I need to adapt and draw on my more gentle, playful, less big in your face, loud side of myself, my compassionate me, which is still me, to adapt to my audience without pretending to be them. And that's confidence. It's knowing who you are, knowing your qualities and abilities, and being able to adapt for the people you're speaking to. So confidence is subjective, right? So I'm going to ask you, give me a yes if you'd be confident to do this. Give me a yes in the chat box if you'd be perfectly comfortable and confident doing a tightrope walk across 2 buildings. So Stu, of course, Stu would. No. So, and thank you, Sheila. I've just seen your comment. I'm glad that I've inspired you. Okay, so we've got one person who would be perfectly confident and happy to tightrope walk across 2 buildings. Give me a yes if you would be confident doing this. So I'm sure we've got Stu giving me another yes there. Oh, let's just go back. So yeah, would you be confident doing a bungee jump? Now I've done one and it is the biggest adrenaline rush I've ever had, but would I do it again? Probably not, because I did have tingling in my jaw. So give me a yes if you are happy to ride a bike. Give me a yes if you're happy to ride a bike. So yep. So confidence is subjective. Okay, but in this picture here, if you took the adult away from that child, the child would probably have less confidence. It's just sometimes we need the situation to be right, because confidence is situational. So you've all given me a yes, that you'd be happy to ride a bike, but would you still be happy to ride in the Tour de France? Give me a yes or a no if you'd be happy to ride in the Tour de France. I think Stuart would just do anything. So, but right, so we're getting lots of no's. I wouldn't cycle the Tour de France. So confidence is subjective and situational. So there are situations in which you are confident speaking. And there are some situations which you are less confident in speaking. So what we want you to do is feel confident speaking about your business so that you can boost your reputation so people know who you are and what you do with clarity, and get more clients, customers. And I love Sue's answer. I'd be at the back, but yes, I'd do it. I'd follow the pack. So I love that. Right? So I wouldn't. I just don't think I'd have the energy to do it. So confidence is subjective, and your voice is a reflection of every experience or emotion you have ever had, imagined, or witnessed. And this is where we come to the situations that you either like or don't like speaking in. So I'd like you to just let me know in the chat box, what are the situations that you are least comfortable speaking in? So this could be the idea of doing a webinar like this, right? So you're speaking to camera, there's no interaction from the audience. It's not like a normal Zoom meeting where people are chipping in. And it could be that your idea of a horrible speaking situation is a challenging conversation. So just give me an idea in the chat box what it is that you don't like speaking, the situations you don't like speaking in. Because your voice is a reflection of every experience or emotion you've ever had, imagined, or witnessed. So you don't need to have had the situation. You might just imagine, oh, what if I was speaking to a room full of lawyers? So I'm getting some lovely suggestions in here. Thank you. So it's not every situation. And let me note, your voice is a reflection of every experience or emotion you've ever had, imagined, or witnessed. So your voice, when you are in a confident situation, your voice is reflecting the yeses you've had. So for example, Noam, if you were to go and stand on stage in front of an audience tomorrow, and everyone in the audience came up and went, thank you so much, even if it was for 5 minutes, right? I'm not saying you have to do an hour. And everyone came up and went, thank you so much, that was amazing. You'd probably have more confidence the next time someone asked you. And your voice would reflect that when you went on stage, because you would be remembering the experience and the emotion being positive. So your voice is and this is where the voice vibration part of what I do comes really powerfully into play, because most of what we remember is the bad experiences, and that's our human nature part, and that's what we're coming on to. So I'm sorry for your bad experience last year, Helen. Maybe we could have a little chat about that one-on-one afterwards if you'd like to, because this is my speciality, is helping people release the negative experiences. Most of them, and I love that yours was from last year actually, Helen, because most of them come from childhood. But when I say every experience, it doesn't have to be from childhood. It could be something that happened 2 weeks ago, because our brain remembers it. And this is where we go into the challenges. So these experiences that you're writing down now, I want you to remember these for when we go into the workshop part of it, because I want you to use these when we're going through the workshop. So that's the reason I asked you to start thinking about it now. So let's take the challenging experiences, because we want you to boost your business. And the problem is very often that we are having to do the things that maybe we don't like to. So for example, cold calling to get new customers, or speaking to people who we think have more experience than us, like Sheila, or speaking to people who we think just are superior to us for whatever reason we believe that. And your voice is reflected in different ways. And those of you who've seen me talk before know what these 4 B's are. They are: your brain is the number one. Your subconscious is remembering those experiences you had before. So when I talk about public speaking, and I have a strong belief, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a second here and just speak to you more directly. I have a strong belief that all speaking is public speaking. Okay? So when I say public speaking, I want you to think whatever the situations are that you don't like speaking in. So whether that is having a challenging conversation, whether that is asking for the money, whether that's picking up the phone from, you've had an email inquiry, but even though you've had an email inquiry, you're like, oh, but I've not spoken to them before, and I don't know what their problem is. Whatever your challenge is, all speaking is public speaking, because you're taking your inner thoughts, ideas, feelings, opinions, beliefs. A couple of you there are holistic or homeopathic therapists. It says sometimes I used to not talk about the voice vibration sound healing part of what I do, even though that's the stuff that has the massive change for most people, because we release the emotions that are held inside you. And when I started talking about that, that's when I really boosted my business. So what are you not talking about? What part of your business are you not talking about? I just want you to think about this, because you think other people won't get it, might think it's boring, will judge you negatively for it. What opinions, thoughts, ideas, beliefs are you not expressing because you think that, oh, other people don't want to know that? Because it's when we share those thoughts, ideas, feelings, opinions, beliefs to people that we're not sure how they're going to respond, that it then becomes public. So you're taking what you have inside you that's yours and you're sharing it. And whether that's with one person or 1,000, whether that's online to a camera with no feedback like this, or someone put that as their horrible situation, or whether it is to a room of 5 people who you like, but you don't know how they're going to respond, that then makes that expression public speaking. So the example I use a lot is where the first time I love you is said in a relationship. Right? The person who says that the first time, they don't know how the other person's going to respond. And that can be terrifying. That's public speaking. And in those situations, our brain, our subconscious brain, is trying to protect us. Your ego's job is to protect you, is to keep you safe. So the egoic state is to keep you in a safe state, because we are meant to live in tribes. We are not meant to live in isolation. And we are meant to have community to support us, which is why it's so great that you guys have that supportive community at Signal in the BiZHUB, because that's a place where it's safe for you to start speaking about the things that you think other people might judge you for. So I encourage, invite, and implore you If there is something that you think, oh, people will think that's boring, if you think people will think it's boring, you'll probably sound boring when you talk about it because your voice reflects the emotions that you're feeling. But start using Signal, like volunteer for the spotlight and speak about the stuff that you think people are going to judge you for. Start speaking about it in a safe space and see what the reaction is. And then you'll build the confidence to boost your business by speaking about the stuff that actually people probably find most interesting. When I started including the voice vibration sound healing in my introduction, people go, oh, vocal confidence. Yeah, I kind of get that. Is that public speaking? Yes. Voice vibration sound healing. Ooh, what's that? Suddenly, I started getting people much more interested in what I was doing, and that boosted my business. So what's the thing that you're keeping secret that actually could be the magic that brings more people to you? So I love this. Noam is saying, made the conscious decision to tell them I also do graphic design. So it's fabulous because the challenge is, so those situations that you wrote down that you don't like speaking in, what's going on is that these 4 Bs are impacting you and your voice will reflect the nervousness. So your brain is trying to keep you safe. So your brain says, don't talk about that because people will judge you negatively. Right? If you've heard me speak before, you've heard me say there's no such thing as a fear of public speaking. It's a fear of judgment. It's a fear of the unknown. And it's a fear of being seen. Right? So Helen, for example, had her bad experience last year. She doesn't want to do it again because of that fear of judgment. And it's the fear of negative judgment. And the thing I put to you is, yes, some people might judge you negatively, but what about the people who need what you are offering and what you have to say? And if it went badly once, then change something up and try it again in a different way. But your brain will go, no, don't do it, because I'm trying to keep you safe. And it's your subconscious, and it's really important to make your fears known to yourself so that you can manage them, because your brain affects your body. So give me a yes if any of these that I'm about to say, any of these symptoms sound familiar to you. So when you are in that situation that you wrote down that you don't like speaking in, your heart rate increases. Give me a yes. Or give me a yes if when you are speaking in that situation that you don't like, you suddenly find yourself speaking a lot quicker. Maybe for you, you suddenly find that your voice goes, not only are you speaking quicker, but your voice suddenly goes up half an octave or an octave. Or give me a yes if you find yourself really short of breath and you become breathless, and maybe your throat gets tight, or perhaps you feel that your throat goes dry, or maybe your brain's going so fast. Give me a yes if your brain gets scrambled and you can't remember what it is you're meant to say, or maybe your brain goes blank, or perhaps you get the shakes or you start sweating. Ooh. Lots of yeses coming in. Yes, 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 yes. So all of these are your body's response to your brain saying, I'm not safe. Right? This is the fight or flight response in perfect mode. And when this is controlling you, it's hard to speak about your business with confidence, because your brain and your body are now going, shut up. Just talk about the safe stuff. Just talk about the safe stuff. Just to stay safe. You don't need to grow, because growing sometimes means cracking. Growing sometimes means exposing yourself and feeling a little bit vulnerable, exposing yourself to the possibility of criticism, exposing yourself to the possibility of someone going, who are you to say that you do graphic design? You're a VA, right? So I love that you're doing that. So in those situations, your body then starts reflecting. And if your body is being impacted in that way, then you have no breath. And if you have no breath, well, there's a small problem in that you are not alive. But if you have no breath, you can't speak. So your brain, your body, and your breath all affect your voice's vibration, the energy that you are coming into the room with. And that is the 4th B. It's a little bit badged, but that's the 4th B. Your vibration, your energy. And I deliberately use the word vibration because your voice is vibration. Your voice is made by your vocal cords vibrating against each other. Your voice is heard as the sound waves travel through the internet at the moment, and maybe you're listening with earbuds, or maybe you're not, right? So then that my voice vibration is not just going into your ears, your body is feeling it. But as it travels through your ears, so it, you know, makes magic vibrationary things happen in the tiny little bones and the hairs, and that all gets transformed into words that you understand. But you're not just hearing the words, you're feeling the energy behind the words that I'm speaking with. And that is what your audience picks up on. Your audience picks up on your energy before you even speak, particularly in a live situation. It's a little bit harder to pick up on your energy in this little box on a screen, particularly if you're watching this on a phone, right? Because it's this big. But your energy still comes across, which is why your vibration is the most important thing for you to be aware of. What state are you in when you go to speak in that situation you don't like? When you go to pick up the phone and go, right, I've been doing this the last couple of weeks, phoning up corporates, phoning up businesses and saying, I have my mental health talk that I'm giving and I'm doing it for free, and would you like it? And when I've had 10 no's, I have to keep changing my energy before I pick up the phone again. When I get that yes, I don't have to worry about my state because I know that my vibration is good because I've just had the yes. So you need to be conscious of what your energy state is and how you can shift it. Because when you become more conscious of that, again, remember, you can shift your energy because you need to have that conscious awareness of where your confidence is in your abilities and your qualities. And you need to grow in the areas where it's not. And if you don't have that yet, then you can use your breath, your body, and your brain to swap that energy state. And we'll be doing a little bit more of that in the workshop. So your breath impacts your body. Right? I'm going to invite you to just take a lovely deep breath now. Imagine you're smelling your favorite smell, and let that inhalation be really, and then breathe out. And just imagine you're smelling that favorite smell. And I bet that even if you were pretty happy and nice and quiet and calm anyway, you now feel that little bit better because you just took that moment. But that's also, you see how that was connecting your breath and your brain. Now this can work with just breath, but because I invited you to imagine your favorite smell, that engages your brain. And it takes your brain into a, oh, actually, this is a really happy place. So you can change your thoughts. If you're thinking, oh, but I've just had 5 no's from the phone calls. Oh, no, I don't want to get another no. Remember the last time you got a yes. You go, oh, actually, you know what? That company just loved what I do. Okay, I'm going to remember then. What did I do when I spoke to them? I'm going to take that energy into this Zoom call, into this phone call. So you can play with your brain in that way. Change your thought patterns and you will change your energy. And when you change your energy, people will want to connect with you. And you can shift your body. And we're going to be doing exercises with that again in the workshop. So if you just sit up taller, put a smile on your face, people can hear a smile on a phone call, even if you're feeling rubbish. Okay? And you might be able to hear that I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. Don't worry, it's just a cold, it's not the COVID. And so I had to change my energy before I came on to this webinar this morning because I was feeling a little bit cold heavy. Right? So with my body, because I'm physically bunged up, I had to do a couple of little things to help me. So this is how you can boost your business, by boosting yourself. And that boosts your confidence. So use your brain, your body, and your breath to create the vibration you want when you speak about your business, so that you can speak with clarity, confidence, and conviction and boost your business. Because it's you, and it's creating the vibration you want. with awareness of what your audience might need. For example, I had a call with an insurance company yesterday. I spoke to them last year. So this is a year's worth of just keeping contacting, checking in, and that gets tiring, right? But I had to change my energy. Go, no, they've come back to me. They still want to keep the conversation going. It would be easy to just go, oh, I'm over this now. Do they really want me in, or are they just playing me? But no, they're contacting me. It's a new person I'm speaking to. So you go in with the energy that you want, with awareness of what they need. So I didn't go in with my voice vibration hippie stuff. I go in with my very clear, this is how it benefits your business. We're talking about purely practical presentations and dealing with actuaries, right? So it's logic and sensibility and the communication part of what I do. I mentioned the voice vibration work to the lady I was speaking to. I said, well, I also work with this, right? So the vibration I want is the whole of me. It's the magic of not hiding because you think it's an insurance company, they're not going to be interested. I've learned if I just mention it, this woman went, oh, I love the law of attraction. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Boom. It's now opened up a door. She's now connected me. I got an email this morning. She's connected me to the wellness person to go in and do a voice vibration meditation session for their wellness arena. So there's a pure example of when you have the vibration you want, you adapt it to what they need, but you still speak about the whole of who you are. That might have got me a second contract in that insurance company. So you can really boost your business when you are confident and clear on this stuff. And I want to give you another testimonial to read now. This guy, I love him. He's amazing. I know him through the brand builders, actually. So Sammy, who gave me the first testimonial through her group. But he's an IT guy. So, you know, logic and numbers and systems are his thing. Words and people, not so much. And he's been working with this company where someone he felt he was meant to be in charge of a contracting element, but he's a contractor. And there was a woman in a managerial position who worked for the company who was basically a bully and would take work off him, even though it wasn't hers. But they were his main customers, so he didn't want to rock the boat, but he had to have this conversation. Anyway, did a one-day intensive with me, went and had the conversation, and they took her away from him. They said, right, she has got nothing to do with you anymore. We will tell her that clearly. You are in charge of that project. She has got nothing to do with it, and it's none of her business what you're doing. So they took the bully away from him. He'd been suffering with her for a year and not saying anything. And they gave him an £80,000 contract. And they said, oh, could you also tender one for this? So he'd spent a year worrying about it and being stressed and letting that bully get on top of him and not saying anything. He was suffering in silence. But when he found the confidence to say, no, this is what I need, he really boosted his business. He boosted his business potentially £160,000 worth. So if you are still avoiding those situations, and if you're not looking at, well, what's my problem? What inside of me? What am I holding on to? What energy, what emotion, what experience is stopping me from expressing myself? And I'm caring so much about what other people might say that you don't speak, then you're doing yourself and your business a disservice. And I want you, give me in the chat box, what's the next line of this quote? Someone in the chat box? Share with me. There we go. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And I want you to not give a damn about what people think, what you think they might think about you or what you do. I want you to be able to go, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Insurance company, I'm going to mention this voice vibration stuff I do. I'm just going to slip it into the conversation. And frankly, my dear, I don't care if you say, what? Because then I can go, well, it's another side of what I do. It's how I work, because your voice is vibration. But if what you want is the purely practical stuff, that's great. We can focus that. And I don't give a damn if they think it's weird and funky, or I don't give a damn if I'm an actuary and I'm going to go, well, actually, it's very important that you get this and this and this. I don't care if you think I'm boring, because I know it's important. I get this from accountants a lot. Oh, but people think what I do is boring. Is it boring or is it important? Connect to what's important and don't give a damn. Okay, and we're going to do a little bit of how to not give a damn work in the workshop. It's really, really important. I want you to embrace your inner Rhett Butler. And frankly, my dears, don't give a damn about what other people might think about you or what you do. Give a damn about the people who will. Give a damn about yourself. Give a damn about what you love and what you're passionate about. So I have some rules for you here, and they're on the worksheet, so don't worry, you don't have to screenshot or write them down. You can if you like. But these are my rules to remember, okay? So, number one, your customers and clients don't care about you. When you're speaking, they do not care about you. You don't care about me. Like, I'm not saying you're not empathetic, you are. I know you're lovely people, right? And when I said I have a cold, or maybe you heard, you're like, oh, poor love, she's got a cold and she's doing a 45-minute talk. Wow, I wouldn't want to do that. But you may have thought that. But you still don't really care. What you care about is that you're giving up at least 45 minutes of your time. Maybe you're giving up 2 hours of your time if you're coming in to do the workshop. And you care that you get something from me that is of value. And especially those of you who, which is most of you who I've spoken to before, you're like, I hope she's going to share something new today, right? Because if she doesn't share something new, well, this is a waste of time. Or if she doesn't remind me of something that I've forgotten from when she spoke before that actually is useful, right? You care about what you can get from it. And it's the same with your customers and clients. So remember that. Remember to focus on what you are giving them. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves. Your customers and clients have a problem that needs solving, right? Just bear with me while I cough. I'm just going to mute myself. Oh, I think I've done very well to get this far. Your customers and clients have a problem that needs solving, but they might want something different. So I know that what you need to know is that emotional or energetic experience that happened in your past, which means you now don't like speaking in that situation. I know you need to do the deep work so that you can then have the power over that. But what you want is more confidence in speaking. What you want is to boost your business. So remember that you need to, when you're speaking with confidence about your business, you need to speak to their problem that they want solving. Then you can focus a little bit on what they need. And know that you are the perfect person for the people who are right for you. Don't worry about the others. Don't worry about the people who go, voice vibration sound healing, that's a bit weird. No thanks, we don't want that here. But it hasn't stopped me speaking in asset management companies, in solicitors, at insurance companies, in a fruit wholesalers, where, trust me, there's a lot of swearing goes on in those offices, very down to earth, right? You are perfect for the people who are right for you, and don't worry about the others. Don't give a damn about the others. There we go. Don't give a damn about the others. This is really, really, really key, because then when you embody this, you will boost your business, because you'll come across as confident in who you are and what you do. So allow yourself that opportunity. Find your true voice. Free that voice. Free the things that you want to say. Because when you do, it is no exaggeration that this liberates your life completely. I have a client who came on the 7-day sound healing retreat that I run in Ireland last year, in September last year. And she apologized for herself all the time. literally, until the other people on the retreat, whenever she apologized for herself, and what did you say? And by the end of the week, she stopped saying sorry. But in so many ways, she released so much emotional stuff that week that she then suddenly went, because she'd started her new business, but she wasn't talking about it. She wasn't really doing anything. She is now running her first group workshop, like literally at the moment. She just started, and she shared with me the other day a Facebook message that someone had sent her, one of the people in her workshop, which is, she used to be a florist, but now she is the habit breaker, and she helps people who know they are drinking too much. Drinking's her speciality, but she works with other habits as well. But alcohol was her thing, and she is now changing and saving lives because she stopped apologizing for herself. She stopped apologizing for who she was, and this is liberating her life because she's getting radio interviews, newspaper articles. It's amazing, and it's also liberating other people's lives. And the message that she shared with us was from this man saying, thank you so much. Without this, I think I would have fallen over the edge. And her speciality is working with people who know they're kind of drinking too much, and if they carry on the way they are, they're going to have to end up at AA, but they're not quite at the point where they have to go to AA. So she's liberating their lives too. So when you start speaking about the part of your business that you really care about, find that truth. You will liberate not just your life, but the lives of the people who you are working with. Now, I did skip forward accidentally to this. This is if you want more of this, and there's a link to it on your worksheet as well. Next week, so next Friday and Saturday, I'm doing my 2-day Speak with Confidence online workshop. There are spaces available. If you're interested, obviously speak to me later. I've reduced all the spaces from £265 down to £199, partly because of COVID and partly because I'm now not paying for the room. So there we go. That is me, and you are you. So thank you so much for being here this morning, and I hope you are all going to come and join the workshop, because we're going to delve deeper into the brain, body, breath and vibration with practical exercises so that you can really start to have that sense of what it is that you are working with, but also a little bit of, we're going to break you out into smaller groups so it's nice and supported, of that awareness, that knowledge of where energetically you sit, how other people view you, and hopefully that will then start you being able to know, you know, just like me, I know that sometimes I need to rein my tiger in. You might then have the awareness of what is it that people see you as, how are you perceived, and where can you change and adapt when you need to, so that you can really go in with full confidence and boost your business. So thank you very much. I will hand back to Lou or Stu, whoever I'm handing back to do the handover to the next session.
Fantastic. Well done.
Wow, that was really good. Thank you so much, Judith. It was really, really, the thing that got me was when you said breathe, and I thought, actually, I don't think I've breathed yet today, because you're just like rushing. And I just stopped and took a deep, deep breath. And it really does make a massive difference. It really, really does. Just don't do it enough. Literally.
Yep. It's why it's been my signature for years. It's been my signature before I even started doing this work. If in doubt, breathe.
Exactly. So yeah, absolutely. A very good pointer to remember. You'd think that we would know to do that, right? But good.
Well, thank you so much, Judith. I know that you're rather suffering from that cold, so loads of energy on a day when you're perhaps not feeling like it. A classic cup of tea, or something maybe stronger in there.
Hot water and ginger and honey.
Perfect. Yes, my mum used to call that honey bears. Don't know why.
Oh.
That was it. So thank you so much. We're going to pop away now. Going to have a quick 15-minute break. We'll be back at 10:48, ladies and gentlemen. Put that date on your timer, and that time on your timer even. And the links are in the chat box for the workbook and the second session, and we'll see you there very shortly, where we will be exploring this. And go away, take a breath, make yourself a cup of tea, and then come on back. We'll see you then. Thanks very much.
Seeing you all in a minute. Bye. Bye. Thank you, Judith.
My pleasure.
The people in. There we go.
Bless you, Noam.
Morning. Hi, Noam.
Hi there, Noam. Morning, Sheila.
Hello. I'm in the dark, aren't I? That's
Good
better.
to see you.
I just want to apologise now. If I duck out, I'm expecting a phone call from a doctor's surgery, but you know what it's like. They won't tell you when.
If I ever come round your house, Sheila, I'm bringing 2 wooden spoons and I'm playing that musical instrument behind you.
Do on my saucepan lids. Yes. we can get some good tunes. I apologise, but somebody's heard me talking to people.
Oh, I'm sorry I raised the head of security, Michael, this week. I tapped on the window and I didn't realise he had a little dog in there. And I felt a bit guilty walking away because the dog was going off. I was like, oh, sorry, Michael.
She's fine.
Good. Excellent. Are you there at the moment? Are you at Signal at the moment?
We are.
Woohoo!
Trying to settle in.
Oh, I'll have to come and see you when I'm next in.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, I was on a bit of a time crunch. Otherwise, I'd have popped my head round the door and said hello. Hi there, Sue.
Hi there.
Morning.
See you.
Hi.
Right.
Wait another minute or so. People coming from making their cuppers and coming back.
Thank you for your offer for member. Sorry, thank you for your offer for member spotlight, Sheila.
Yes, welcome. Love to.
You're in.
I'm all in.
You're in.
I'll be ready.
Brilliant.
Cool.
And Noam, I think you're probably in November, aren't you? We've had conversations. Yes, you are. You're ready. You're very ready.
Am I?
And after this workshop, you'll be even more ready. So I'm going to put November.
What's different than being here, being seen on this Zoom call?
Yeah, no, it's not the sort of like being in the spotlight thing. It's more, I kind of didn't feel like I had anything to offer anybody yet.
Of course you have.
Because I don't feel like I'm successful yet.
You
Okay, we can deal with that.
It's going in the right direction, but
I think that's our cue to get started. So
I think that's music to Judith's ears when she hears something like that. She's like, oh yes, I have somebody to work with.
she's raring to go. Right, Judith, over to you. We're here to help facilitate. So if you need anything doing, let us know. Gareth's listening in the background. So let's call it to order and over to our wonderful guest speaker.
Thank you. So first of all, while it's fresh in your memory, any questions that sparked in you from the presentation? Anything that you want to ask me? Because also we can use any questions that you have to adapt and focus what we do in the workshop. So was there anything that came up for you? Anything that you are?
I've got a little question, if I may sort of sneak in and preempt anybody, but kick it off. What sort of preparation do you do, Judith, to sort of get mentally prepared to do a speaking engagement, whether it's online like this, perhaps, or in person when that becomes available again? What steps can people do to sort of like mentally prepare?
So for me, the number one thing is always the connecting to my higher purpose. Always. So it doesn't matter whether I've had the best day or the crappiest day, or whether I'm really nervous, because sometimes I still get nervous in some situations, not so much as I used to anymore, but that's because I've been doing this for a long time. But that is the number one thing, really, is connecting to what is more important than how I feel. And whether that is, oh, but I'm not successful enough to talk about it yet, or who am I to speak to these people? Like, who am I to speak to? Where was my last who am I to speak to? Who am I to speak to a room full of solicitors? Right? And actually, when I was doing my Stop Suffering in Silence talk last year, this is a really good example. So my Stop Suffering Silence talk is a talk I take into companies around the benefits of communicating how you feel, and not allowing, you know, like my client Kevin, who gave the testimonial, a year he spent a year feeling bullied by this woman in the company that he was a contractor in. He spent a year going, oh, I need to say something. And, you know, he spent a year going, I've got this great idea that is going to really help their business, but I'm going to have to charge 80K for it. And who am I to charge 80K on one lump sum? Right? He spent a year suffering in silence. Then when we had the one-day session, we worked through my How to Have Challenging Conversations method, and we broke it down and we found out where his stuff came from, which was a 7-year-old him, I think it was. And he learned how to manage 7-year-old him and put 7-year-old him in another place. And he went and he picked up the phone, he made the phone call, and everything, they were like, yep, we'll get rid of her. Oh my God, that sounds like an amazing idea. Yep, give us a proposal. 80K, not a problem. He spent a year suffering in silence, stress, anxiety, And this, so my talk is around how just expressing when there's a problem will stop you from suffering in silence. And I do it specifically for Mental Health Week because I was suicidal 4 years ago, and 2 years ago I lost my niece to suicide. And so mental health is a massive, massive part of my thing. But, and this is where, no, this is how it relates to your, but I'm not successful enough, right? I talk about my thing. What I always say is I was slightly suicidal, right? I was waking up every morning with thoughts of not wanting to be here anymore. I wasn't suicidal enough. I didn't try to kill myself, right? So it's the same as your, I'm not successful enough to talk about this yet, right? Literally, my imposter syndrome was, can I talk about this topic of mental health and, you know, feeling slightly suicidal when I didn't really do it? I didn't make plans.
That's to you,
right? And I've got a friend who that's her main thing that she talks about, because she'd made plans, she'd boxed up her life, she knew exactly how she was going to do it, she knew when she was going to do it. She did one last travel trip, and on that trip she met a child. She was working in an orphanage, and she was for a couple of weeks, and that was going to be her last experience, and then she was going to go off and disappear on a beach and just be a backpacker who disappeared. But one of the children who she connected with in that orphanage died. And she was so devastated by that she changed her plans.
Wow.
So and now she talks about that. But I was just like, well, I never did that. I wasn't suicidal enough. Am I really? Is it really? Am I good enough to be talking? Should I go into businesses and talk about this? Oh, I don't know. Right. And the fear of not knowing where other people are at is a very sensitive topic. So then I get nervous, but I would connect to my higher purpose and go, if this talk helps one person. So, and the whole point of my talk wasn't actually the suicide end of things. It's much further. It's the when you're slightly stressed. And the point of my talk is catch yourself when you're sighing a lot, because then you won't get to where I was, which is standing on the edge of the train platform wondering, I wonder what would happen if. Right? I'm not doing anything about it, but I wonder what would happen if, or waking up every morning not wanting. Catch yourself when you're sighing a lot, and then think what the problem is, and then tell someone what the problem is. And that's the point of the talk, is communicating your challenges early. But my nerves hit, and I connect to that higher purpose. Right? It's not if I'm not ready, because you're ready because you're doing it. It's not, I'm not good enough, because what's good enough? Right? Have you got to wait until you're Richard Branson to be good enough?
Yeah.
Like, if that's the thing. It's like, if you're doing it, then speak about it.
And your business, Noam, you are doing graphic design and creative artwork side of stuff.
Yeah.
So one of the things we were talking about just before everybody came in was years ago I started saving all of the nice things that customers used to say to me. This is way before like the idea of the internet and putting testimonials up. So I used to keep a document of all of the kind of nice things everyone said. And when I was having a bad day, I'd open it up and I'd just read them back, and it would feel like those people were saying it to me all over again, because your brain has this capacity to just forget all the good stuff and just focus on the problems. We're problem solving machines, and business owners more so. So, you know, give yourself a pat on the back and say, I did that and I did that and I did that. Give yourself a little edited highlights reel that you can play
and
over and over.
Listen to those people. Right. So before you're talking about your business, before you whatever it is, listen to those people. And even if there are people, I got an email from a dodgy, it was john@johnsmith.com. I'm like, that's not real. But it's like, I've been looking at your website, and it sounds like what you do is interesting, but where are your qualifications? Are you a psychologist or a psychiatrist? I'm like, no. Right? I don't have qualifications. You know, I do talks on mental health. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. Right? The work I do, a lot of it, the deep stuff, does work on big, deep emotional stuff. And I do say, you know, if you have mental health challenges, or you know that this might be, please be aware these might be brought up. I am not a doctor, but this work can help. But it's up to you to know that you are responsible. And I had a woman do I have a 7-week sound healing course that I do, that I created and ran in April, and I'm running again in October and November. And she came on it and she said, you know, I have PTSD about childhood abuse trauma. Just to know that you asked me to let you know what we have. I have that. I'm aware that this work might bring it up, and I take full responsibility for that. And one of the sounds, when we were sounding in the chakra sounds, it did bring it up. And of course that makes me feel bad, right? Because I'm like, oh, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist. Who am I to be, you know, eliciting this big stuff from people? Because sometimes it's big, sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it's, when I was at school, I held up a picture and everybody laughed. And that's where their public speaking challenge comes from, right? It doesn't have to be big and traumatic. But there was a part of me that was like, oh no, this has come up for her. Who am I to have done it? But who I was the right person for her then. And that's the thing, it's you are the right people for your people now. And if your experience or your knowledge or your work is working, then do it. I didn't set out to be a vocal confidence specialist. Okay, I just had a massage client ask me one day, Judith, you're an actress and you do that weird stuff with sound, right? You deal with people's voices. Could you help my husband? He hates public speaking. So, I don't know. So there I went, armed with my drama school voice class folder, all prepared to, you know, stand there and make him go, it's like some of the practical stuff that I now do. And actually he started talking and I went, my God, he sounds boring and he sounds like he doesn't care about it. Right? I was like, oh, actually that's what actors do. Actors try to get to the truth. We represent the truth. I was like, well, tell me why this is important. And he went, well, that's important for this. And it was all dry. And I went, yeah, but why is that important? And as I did, and then we got to what was it, and he suddenly lit up. And suddenly there was his spark. And I was like, oh, that's what you need to remember. That was his higher purpose. That was the thing he was passionate about. That is why he was a magistrate for international shipping law. Right? And this talk that he was giving was on a specific point of international shipping law. And his fear was that people would think it's boring. Right? People will think it's boring. So he sounded bored by himself. But when you reconnect to that, it's like, right, that's what you need. And then I did the articulation and the body posture and all the rest. So that's quite a long answer to a simple question, but hopefully it's covered a multitude.
I think that was thoroughly and comprehensively covered. Thank you very much. Anybody else got any questions before we move into the workbook?
I've got one.
Yeah, Sheila, go.
You know, I enter into these challenges where they say, right, do a Facebook Live every day for a week. And I have no problem finding a topic. It'll just be because my brain goes in overdrive and I'll pick up on something that just kind of, I thought, I'm just going to rant about it, you know, or mutter. But when I look back, I think, God, why do you keep rubbing your thighs? Why do you keep smacking your lips? Why do you keep closing your eyes? And I'm judging how I'm coming across, which means me thinking, I better not do that, I better not do that. And you kind of forget what you're meant to be doing. And somebody said to me once, it was actually in a networking event when I was doing my 60 seconds, and he said, Sheila, you've got to stop laughing. And I thought, why? But he threw me off course. He completely threw me off course because he was judging how I was coming across.
So this is great. This takes us actually into the first exercise, because sometimes, so things like rubbing your thighs, I would, if you came on my course and I noticed you doing that, I would stop you from doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's your, like in poker, it's your tell.
Yeah.
I call it your energy leak. And the laughter, sometimes, and I have a woman she's the laughter liberator, and she does laughter yoga as her thing. But sometimes it can come across as nervous laughter, which, even if it's not meant as that, then makes you appear less confident either in who you are or what you do. So if that is feedback that you have got, now it could just be one person's opinion. So this is where we need to be aware. Is this one person's opinion? Or actually, is this something I do which might get in the way? And if it's something that you know that you do that might get in the way, then it's time to own it and say, okay, what is it about that? How can I adapt it? Or is it just one person's opinion? Well, frankly, my dear, I what?
And give
Don't
it
give
down.
it down.
Yeah.
I do know also that if I think that I'm not quite prepared for the next thing I'm going to say, I will close my eyes.
Yeah. And lip smacking and eye closing, that's all that thing. So those are the habits and the awarenesses.
Yeah.
So what I would like you to do, does everyone have their worksheet?
Yeah.
You don't need to, it's fine. I can just give you the questions that I'd like you to discuss in your little groups or to talk about. So the first one we're going to attack the brain first. Your thoughts create reality. And you've already answered the first one because you gave the speaking situation that you don't like in the webinar. So what I'd like you to do when you go into your groups, and we can do Stu or Lou, are you happy to be included in one of the groups?
Yeah.
We have 2 groups of 3.
Okay.
And what I'd like you to do is just to share with the people in your group your answers to these questions. And yeah, we'll do 3 minutes each. So I want you, so for example, I would say, what's the speaking situation you don't like? So I would say the speaking situation that makes me most nervous, that I don't like, is when someone is in a really high position of power. For example, the CEO, the chair of the board of the bank, who asked me to work with her in November to have her challenging conversation with the CEO of the bank. That's a speaking situation that makes me go, who am I to work with the chair of the board of the bank? How does avoiding these situations get in the way of boosting my business? It gets in the way of boosting my business because actually, if I'm working with the chair of the board and then working with the CEO, that could impact so many more people and bring more of my 100 million in. And it's getting in the way of boosting my business because I'm not working at the level that I should be. So my reputation and my finances, if I spoke in those situations more often. What thoughts come into my brain when thinking about that speaking situation is, who am I to be working with someone that high powered? I don't know how much money to charge them. So you just tell your group what those thoughts are. And how does those thoughts get in the way? You can either answer that or not. They may be the same answer as the other one. So I just want you to tell your group the answer to those questions and tell each other. So when the first person is done, then go on so that everyone gets to say, and then have a little discussion. So no more than 2, 4, 6. Yes, if you take about 2.5 minutes each to answer those questions, so no waffling, and let the person speak. Don't give your feedback until each person has spoken, and then have a little talk. So if we break out into this room for 12 minutes,
Yeah. Okay.
then it'll give you a nice little opportunity to work out what's going on in your brains, and hopefully you'll all find support from each other and also maybe to be able to give each other little bits of help on different ways you could think about things.
Okay, excellent.
Lovely.
Thank you very much. You should be
Thank you.
seeing the breakout room dialog box pop up. Click the join, and we'll be back in 12 minutes.
Off you go.
Sorry, I'll say that again because I don't know if you heard me, John. You're
Just-
like rocket scientists.
Oh,
like kind of these people who have this really, really good understanding of engineering and your skill set. So I don't think there's any imposter syndrome there. Some of the plants that I've seen that you've built, I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to start. How do you even begin to design something like that? And you're looking at it probably thinking to yourself, oh, that's not very good and I could improve that and hope they don't ask me about that.
So hopefully you all had a good little chat and you found out what's going on in each other's brains.
Yes.
Right, those thoughts. So I just want you to remember that the thoughts, your thoughts and feelings, this is a premise that comes from a training that I did, which I love, which is called Natural Success. Your thoughts and feelings are made up. You're making them up. Those thoughts that you're having around those situations that you don't like speaking in, what if they say no? They'll think I'm not interesting. They'll see I'm a fake. I'm out of my depth. Oh, I shouldn't be here. Right, those thoughts, you're making them up. And you're feeling the way you're feeling about it, you're making it up, often in relation to a past experience. But you're making it up in the moment and you're making that real. So you can make other thoughts and feelings up too. What if they say yes? What if they like me? What if this is the customer who I'm not right for, but they recommend me to 200 people? What if they don't need me right now? Do they give me permission to call them back in 6 months? And it's to make it, you can change your thoughts, but be so aware of how it is your brain is getting in your way, because we have amazing imaginations, but that primeval amygdala back there is trying to keep us safe. It's trying to keep us in the tribe so that we don't have to go through winter on our own, because it's impossible to kill a woolly mammoth on your own and survive the winter. Right? So I'm not going to speak up in case the tribe say no. For a lot of this stuff, it's like, actually say what you need to say so you can find your tribe.
Yeah.
And also, Judith, do you find that people prejudge the situation? So they'll say something like, oh, you're probably going to say no, but, and then they ask the question couched in a negative light.
Yes. Yeah, never do that.
Who does that? I did that to ask my wife out on the first date. You're probably going to say no, but can I have your telephone number? What did it matter? Why did I say that? Just like giving her an easy out.
And if you don't know, you can ask. It's like money, right? This insurance company, a year. I could have given up. Right? It's taken, I spoke to them a year ago. It's taken a year to get to the point where we're starting to talk about actual workshops that I'm going to deliver. And then we had to do the money question. Now I have prices that I've created that I know medium-sized sort of independent type companies are happy with. But I've got a friend who works in a bank and she went, £950 for a half day. Darling, we wouldn't look at you. You need to charge at least 2,000 for a half day. Right? Because they're a big bank. Now, this insurance company, she said, so what do you and you let us know what you charge. I said, well, what budget do you have? Yes, I've got a good budget for this. I said, okay, what constitutes good for you? And I said, because I have a friend who works in HR for Bank of America, and she said, I can't, not charge less than £2,000. She went, oh God, no, we're stingy here. I went, okay, well, my normal rate is 950 for a half day. She went, yeah, that would be about in the right ballpark. So don't get in the fear of, oh, I'm going to be too cheap. I'm going to be too, ask, what is your ballpark? Most people will tell you.
Do you know it's not illegal to charge a lot of money for your services?
Yeah.
there's
And
quite a
then
lot
might come a point when I do just go, actually, I'm £2,000 for a half day. Go
Yeah.
over it.
Absolutely.
So allow yourself to take those thoughts, and we all get them. I get them. It's just I have the tools and techniques to manage them.
And also, there's always a premium end of the market. Why shouldn't it be you? Somebody has to service those clients, and if they value you at a higher rate because you're doing something amazing, you know, that there is no law that says you have to service the low end of the market. You're not a public service. You're an independent, privately owned, privately run business, hopefully for profit. So start
there we go.
thinking.
And I also have my free or donation Monday morning meditation. Right? You can come and sound with me every week for free if you want. But if you want to work with me one-on-one for a day, it's going to cost you £1,200. Because the difference that will make, like that, the Kevin with his challenging conversation. He paid me £1,200, well, just over, but he made 80, potentially 160,000.
Wow.
And I think he'd have paid, even if he didn't get that contract, he'd have gone, that £1,200 was so worth it to have the bullying woman taken out of his remit. So allow yourself to know what the thoughts are that get in your way, so which hopefully now you've written down those thoughts that get in your way. So you can go, actually, I don't want to listen to those thoughts. What other thoughts can you create around them? So number 2 on our list is the body. So we've had a little brain exercise. I want to do a little body exercise, and we're going to do this in a big group. And you've got more information on the worksheet than we're going to be doing with the exercises, but I want you to be able to work through this worksheet a little bit with yourself as well. So I wanted to give you a lot here. And it's about being able to be in your space. And actually, we will break out into a little group for the second exercise, because you'll probably feel a little bit safer in a smaller group. But the first one I want you to do is just playing with your body. So how you can, if you can't change your brain, if your brain is really playing with you, but you need to or want to feel and appear more confident, you can use your body. So I might have done this exercise with you before, or you may have done it with other people, but this is a really quick one just to show how much your body and brain work together and how that is reflected through your voice and your feelings. Remember, you said you make up your feelings. This is a way to change how you feel. So I want you to just sort of slump wherever you're sitting, and, you know, don't be sitting too upright, and look down, put your gaze onto the floor, and you're not allowed to smile when you're saying this. So I want you to say, as you're looking down and slumping and not smiling, with as much joy as you can muster, I feel fabulous. So 1, 2, 3. I feel fabulous. Okay, how fabulous do we feel? Give me a thumbs up if you feel fabulous. Okay,
Right.
we feel a little bit rubbish. So I want you to sit up nice and tall. All right, and imagine you've got a string coming from the top of your head, and just looking up nicely. So looking up, not looking up, but just like looking up, looking out. Put a smile on your face. Right, a lovely big smile, as if you've just won the lottery. And I want you to say, with as much misery as you can muster, I feel awful. 1, 2, 3. I feel
Awful.
How awful do you feel? You don't feel awful because your body is telling your brain, I feel good. Right? So if you're going into that situation that you wrote that you don't like speaking in, if your brain is going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, get your body, because you have control over your body. So stand tall, open your shoulders, own the space, and be in there. Now, we will break out just for a couple of minutes into the rooms, and I want you, if you don't have a 60-second pitch, don't worry about it, make one up. I'll need a timekeeper in each room so that no one goes over 60 seconds. And you can choose one of the 3. Okay, so and I want everyone to choose a different exercise. So whoever goes first does the first exercise. Okay, so the first exercise is say your 60 seconds pretending like you're chopping logs. Okay, so I want you to really get your body into it and pretend you've got an axe in your hand, right? So for example, I'm Judith Quinn, I'm a vocal confidence communication coach, and I'm passionate about helping people speak with confidence. You'll get the idea. The second one, whoever goes second, I want you to say your 60-second pitch as if you're catching butterflies, holding them and letting go. It's like, I'm Judith Quinn, I'm a vocal confidence specialist, and so you're catching those butterflies. And the third one, imagining you're paddling a canoe through white water, right? And you're trying to paddle backwards, right? You're in a bit of peril, and saying, so where if you go first, second, or third, if you go first, you'll do the first one. If you go second, you'll do the second one. If you go third, you'll do the third one. I just want you to feel how, and watching other people, how saying it differently creates a different energy vocally, but also physically, and then give each other some feedback. So it'll be 1, 2, 3 minutes to do it, and then just 2 minutes of feedback. So if we can have 6 minutes in the room and go into breakout rooms. Everyone knows what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. Clearly all chatting, going, no, no, no. So here we all are back in the room. This is good. Now, silly exercises, embarrassing for some, but I was saying the key thing about doing those exercises is it gives you different energies. Like the chopping wood one helps you figure out what is important in your business. You tend to chop on the words, which is the energy of the things that's important. Catching butterflies gives you that energy when you're speaking of caring more. Right? So you catch them and then you let them go, and it's what you're offering your clients. And the white water rafting one, if you normally come across as a little bit lethargic or unsure, it can give you energy. So this is just ways of showing how, if you use your body, and I was saying to those who were in the group with me, if you have difficulty remembering your 60-second pitch for networking, it's a great exercise to do because it will help you remember what's actually important, because it gives you a distraction. So I know we are coming towards the end, and I really want to do the vibration thing. So we won't break out because it takes a little bit of time. So we're just going to go quickly round, and I'm going to ask you to know, what is your usual energy state? So, but instead of you asking, I'm just going to go quickly around, and I'm going to pick on someone because you know each other better. And I would like you to give an honest, what do you think their usual energy state is? So that could be laid back, it could be timid, it could be, I don't know, because I know them a little bit better, I would say Stu's normal energy state is a little bit hyperactive, right? So I just want to go around, and so you can get feedback of how you appear to others in a really supportive atmosphere. So will someone tell me what Sheila's usual energy state, how that comes across?
Bubbly.
Bubbly?
Fun.
Fun. Okay, lovely.
Yeah, bubbly fun.
And overly bubbly, would it sometimes create challenges for people who might be introverted or quiet, do you think? Or is it a good level of bubbly and fun? How might that bubbliness cause challenges?
I don't know about challenges. She comes across very bubbly, but also very engaging at the same time. So it's almost infectious when you're with Sheila, because she's bubbly and you're infected by her bubbliness in a positive way.
Yeah, her catchphrase is
no.
Go no.
Sorry, I was going to say compassionate as well, because I think at the first networking meeting where I was very, very nervous, Sheila was there being bubbly, and she was the first person that I was able to approach and talk to, and she made me feel very at ease. So
lovely.
If anything, it's the opposite. It's a good thing. So
it's a really and this is the thing. So it's where is it good and where is it challenging? So for example, I know that my normal upfrontness is really great for engaging people, but it's challenging for introverts. Right? So it's just starting to have a little awareness of where it's good and where it can be challenging, and how you can adapt. So who would like to give me a word to describe Sue's normal energy state when she's delivering? Calm.
Yeah, balanced.
That's okay. And where, when she's speaking, or what different energy when she's speaking might be useful for you to suggest Sue could bring in a little bit more? Is there something else you'd like to see? That's the question I'm really asking.
Yeah, I think Sue needs to smile more when she's delivering her message. She's talking, and so she's caught up in the moment. And this isn't the old smile more, love. This is just if you're having a good time, it's infectious in your audience. So, you know, just, you don't have to be grinning like the Cheshire Cat, but just you know, checking in and smiling and putting out that positive this is enjoyable vibe.
Fab. And who normally does, I'm very conscious we're tight on time, so yeah. Who normally does the speaking, Fiona and John? Who normally stands up and does the speaking?
Tends to be me more, because Fiona's never certain what to say.
Okay.
But it really should be, we should be taking more turns, I think, in that respect.
And how would you, so I'm just going to shift this a little bit for the last one, how would you describe your energy, John? How do you feel you come across?
As an introvert trying to make it external, and having watched myself recorded, I tend to be a bit wooden.
Okay, and what energy do you think you could tap into? What is it that you think your audience would like more of from you?
I think probably more responsive to what, you know, it's reading their body language and making it almost like a sort of one half of the conversation, unless they just delivering it in one direction.
Okay, so a little bit more passion.
Possibly, yes.
So allow, because I know you're engineers, right? Yeah. So allow, so and anyone who's logical, so yourself, Michael, with numbers, anyone with who's logical and practical and put together, I would always encourage you to go into the passion of what you do, right? And maybe deliver a little less detail. People who are normally bubbly and open and warm and calming, I would encourage you to give a little bit more specifics and less emotions. So that brings a vibration that's mixed into the room.
That balance then really, is it, Judy?
That real balance, yeah. So obviously you've got the worksheets. You can go through and answer them for yourselves a little bit more in detail. I'm aware that we are at the end of the session. We have
sadly run out of time, because this is a very engaging topic and one close to my heart. You know, having done a lot of speaking and performance work over the years, and hearing a professional codifying it and sort of focusing in on it, it's fantastic. Thank you for your time today, Judith, and sharing your skill, experience and your energy with us, because it's very infectious. So round of applause, please, for our wonderful
I'm now going to go and collapse.
Especially as, yes, definitely, as you've not feeling 100%.
But you got to practice what you preach, right? So this is me in action.
Dr. Theatre, Dr. Theatre.
But not even, yeah, Dr. Theatre, but not even that. It's that connecting to the passion behind my purpose. And I want to bring everything, because I want you guys to benefit from it.
If people want to get in touch with you, they can do through the details in that workbook.
Yes, and if you would share that with the others who are in the talk as well. Yeah. And maybe I'll send you an email with the links. That'll make it easier to share with them. And yeah, if you want more of it, I have got the course next Friday and Saturday. There are spaces, so that's the probably most cost-effective way of working with me to get the most value at the moment. Or if you want the one-on-one stuff, then just get in touch, and you know where I am. And I want to help you speak about your businesses with confidence, because I want you to be having the conversation that I was having yesterday of, should I be charging you £2,000 for the half day, or do you want my normal rate of £950?
Brilliant.
I want you to be doing that with your people.
Fabulous. Oh. Excellent. Lou, any last minute notices before we wrap up?
Yeah, just thank you all for coming today. Don't forget to book on for next week. We've got Brian Wood coming to talk about his story, his inspirational story, which should be fantastic. And LinkedIn, book onto the LinkedIn. Michael, I think I might sign you up. You're going to come along to LinkedIn and join us.
Fantastic. It's Beer Friday, 4:30. Post your photos in the group and comments therein. It might seem like a little early, but go on, you deserve it. You've had a wonderful week and you've had some great wins and you've shared your energy with us today. Thank you for coming along, everybody. Have a good weekend. And Lou and I are going to be phoning all of the hub members throughout October, so you will be definitely having a phone call with us at some point in October.
Noam, did you have something, Noam?
Very quickly for you, Lou, are you still looking for one more person for the member spotlight?
Member spotlight, I've got October is now full since this morning, but I'd love you to come and do it in November.
I will commit to November.
Yes, I love it, Noam. Love it. Yay!
Chop that wood.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, paddle up the stream.
Paddle up the stream, chop that wood. Okay, guys, have a lovely weekend. Again, thank you, Judith, and we'll see you all next week.
That's just made my
Thank
day.
you. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.